distinguished panelists sitting on the dais, Mr. Ankur Gupta, Rajgopal Devara, B. Rajkumar, Ella Ramchandran, and the people sitting in the hall, the representatives from banks, the various banking sectors, industry, and people from media, and the various stakeholders and participants relating to this banking, financial and services and insurance sector. So this particular seminar, conference is today about the BFSI sector, banking, financial and services, insurance sector. Now we must be thinking and pondering about this fact in mind, that why we are not only discussing why the topic of the seminar and the conference is not just banking, and why are we discussing along with this the financial services and insurance part also. Because like IT had played a very important role, and IT through the and mostly in the last 5 years or so, there has been a tremendous increase and tremendous development in advances in the technology, and due to which this particular service sector, that is called the financial banking, financial services, insurance sector, that stands disrupted. Now the boundary line between all these sectors is become very fluid. Each one of them is flowing into the other, and the boundary lines are totally have been distinguished. We are not able to distinguish it, and it has ceased to exist. Now, for example, my banker was State Bank of India. I used to receive the salary from State Bank of India. But now the bankers are coming to me and saying that, madam, please, would you like to take a life insurance also? So therefore, I said, okay, you are doing life insurance too. So therefore, at the same time, SBI is into mutual funds also. SBI is into the other financial services sector, providing consultancies, providing the other kind of advisory services. So therefore, each sector is undertaking all kind of diversified activities. Now, because the traditional and old role of the banks relating to acceptance of the deposits or advancing the loans to its customer or advances the loans or credits to the rural people, now it has found a transformation, and the other objectives also has taken place, because the options available with the customers and the change in the technology have brought about the drastic changes, which has led to undertaking of many objectives by these financial institutions. Now they are no more the financial institutions. So they are undertaking the other objectives also, now with the role of the technology, with the advance of the technology. So therefore, I would like to say that there are some non-banking institutions also. Now those institutions which have never had any experience in the banking sector, now they are also coming into banking sector. They are also advancing the loans to the customer, and they are also giving the roles, they are also advancing certain kind of financial credit limits to the rural economy. So therefore, the role of the banking sector and the non-banking sector has become little weird, and it has flowed into each other now. So now what is the IT plays a very important role in the services sector, because this is truly a services sector which is knowledge-based sector, and therefore the knowledge-based sector stands to get disrupted very quickly with the technology and with the advent of technology. Now, as if I explain the whole world is divided into North America, Europe, and this Asian countries, and then Middle East and South American countries, and Africa. Now, out of these countries, North America and Europe are the technology advancers. They are the countries. This is the region which has leapfrogged the technological advances. And the South Asian countries are mainly the customers. They are not the producers of the technology, they are the customers. So therefore now with the advancement of technology, what has happened is that there has been a convergence of these sectors. The customers has become very close to the producers. So now we can take the technology from North American countries, from European countries on the rental basis, which in the form of service providers. These service providers are giving us the benefit of the technology to us. Like for example, I am running a IT sector in Puducherry. So we are now also hiring the cloud computing services from the foreign companies, from the foreign service providers through our central government. So this is how the things are. The cloud services are being rented by us also from the service providers. So these days the service providers are also playing a very key role, which are mainly the technological companies. Now, when I say that, like, there are some small institutions which are making their stride into this banking sector are the fintechs, the financial technological companies. Now what are they? They are these service providers which provide some kind of consultancy with some kind of technological inputs to the main organizations. Now they hire the technology from these countries, these advanced countries, and then they make certain apps, and they customize various solutions as per the needs and requirements of the customers, and then they give the solutions to the customers, and this is how they are running. Now, first of all, there was a major shift in the financial sector when these fintech companies, small payment banks as we call them, we can call them startups also, we can call them MSME sector also. So these sector, when they went for the initial public offering, their initial public offering was oversubscribed many times over. So therefore people had a shock that why these small fintech companies, the payment bank companies, how they are, how their initial public offerings, when they are going to the public to raise the money for them, how it is being oversubscribed so many times over. So therefore it is because the customers are ready after the technology. With this mobile evolution, everybody is having a mobile handset in hand. We are having more mobile instruments in the banking accounts in our country, and we have got so much, the demographic dividends, the young population which is so much active in the social media, in various Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and so on and so forth. They are so much active in all these things, and the data which is being collected by all these kind of social media platforms, they are being used by these non-banking financial sectors to make certain policies, to waive all certain policies about the credit rating. They are forming certain kind of data so that they can form a credit rating about the customer, and also they can customize various kinds of solutions so as to suit its needs. So therefore this whole sector has received a certain kind of disruption and certain kind of total transformation, and upheavals have been noticed in this sector. Now there is a National Skill Development Council at the level of Ministry of Employment, Labour and Employment, and also at the level of the Skill Development and Skill Generation Ministry. This National Skill Development Council is coming out with various sector councils. Now, BFSI, Skill Development Council, is one of the very important committee which has been formed by this council. Now, this has got various stakeholders like NASSCOM, like various kind of service providers. What they have done is they have come together, this committee has come together in the government, and they have identified certain jobs and they have strategized certain skills which will be needed in the future in this BFSI sector, so that they can create certain kind of skill and job development for the sector. So therefore this sector is receiving a lot of attention by the government, and this sector is bound to play a key role in the development and the productivity and the efficiency of the country. And this sector has been identified by various like agencies. For example, the Morgan & Stanley has also said in one of its reports that this BFSI sector is going to play a key role in the skill generation, in employment generation, in skill development, and in also various kind of to develop various kind of job roles, and also to create various kind of developments. So these all skills have been identified by the government. And then in the recent study which has been done by NASSCOM is an apex body level institution, which is the institution of the various apex software national companies. Now this NASSCOM has also said is also one of the major stakeholder in this BFSI Skill Development Council. So they have also said that IT software is to be used in the major proportion by the BFSI sector in the coming days. So therefore, and also you must, in one of the studies also it has been said that total IT spending of the country, out of the total IT spending of the country, 11% of the IT spending is consumed by BFSI sector. So therefore it is a very IT savvy sector, and which is experiencing the disruption. And gone are the days when the traditional banking functions of banking were undertaken by few banks, nationalized banks, but now the non-banking players have also come into this sector and also playing a big role. Now the major kind of role, the gainful employment and gainful capital generation would be from these life insurance and medical insurance sector. Now the medical insurance sector and the life insurance are pulling enough resources from the population, and also mobilizing them in the various mutual funds and the capital markets and the retail markets. So therefore each sector is supplementing the other sector, and each sector is accelerating the growth of the other sector, and they are quite interdependent on each other. Therefore this is the age of collaboration, this is the age of partnerships, and the convergence with each other, and this is the role, this is the age where the illiteracy, being illiterate is not defined by not being able to read and write. But being illiterate is defined by saying that if you are not able to learn, de-learn, and then again relearn your skills, then if you are not able to do these 3 steps, then you are a literate person. So therefore the concept of literacy and illiteracy has also changed. So therefore the literacy is being defined by saying that you have to keep on updating yourselves with new skills, otherwise you will be left behind. And India being a consumer, one of the major consumer economy, and also the place where we have the median age of the population is 29 years, and we have about 65 to 70% of the population in the age gap, in the range of 35 years of age, being a young population, and which is very technological savvy. So therefore, with so much of they are able to experiment and test with various modern instruments like smartphones, mobile phones, and the other kind of instruments. So, and moreover, when the technology transfer these days have become so easy, and government is also facilitating the technology transfer from the foreign countries to India. So therefore, the disruption and skill development is a key role if one has to survive in this BFSI sector, because new innovations are being generated and created every day, and the customer are changing to their requirements and needs of these innovative instruments, and they are very adaptive in nature. They are adapting to one instrument, from one instrument to another, they are going to the other instruments. So therefore they are being very adaptive, and but if one has to stay in this business, there is a lot of scope. But there is a lot of scope in BFSI sector. As you say that very less, we have not explored. The traditional banks had only explored about 30% of the economy, so 30% of the financial resources of the economy. Now with the help of these financial inclusion, with the help of these innovative instruments which we are using in the financial instruments, so that we can mobilize the resources with these weaker section societies, with the marginalized groups, with this migratory nature of population, we are able to mobilize so much of money into the channels, into our financial system, and moreover that is finding its way to the mutual funds, and again it is finding its way to the capital markets. So therefore, I think we will see a lot of churning in the times to come, and this particular seminar is very fruitful, and it relates to the modern concept of to bringing about various kind of transformative changes that BFSI sector is experiencing, and the various studies also has said this sector is bound to see various changes in the coming future. And I hope there are various kind of topics which will be discussed in these 2 days relating to the fund generation and how to mobilize the maximum capital which is in the economy, so as to bring about advancement, productivity, and the economic development of the overall economic development of the country. Government is really facilitating each and everything. They are facilitating the BFSI sector through their regulations, and they are making it more easily regulated. And because some people, there are certain whispers in the corners that the government this sector is not being regulated, the IT sector is not regulated. There are enough rules of the IT sector, and the government has also come out with a regulation saying that every organization who has to appoint the Chief Information Security Officer in their organization, if they have to undertake as the role online, and if they have to mobilize the money of the customer on the online basis. So therefore, a lot of regulatory mechanisms are there. There are various institutions like judiciary is also saying so many things, passing so many judgments about the role of the financial institutions in the coming future. And so therefore I think that the various kind of rules and regulations relating to the financial sector is been getting more delineated and more defined in the coming days, because judiciary is also playing its role, and the other government is also is acting as a regulator, as daily it is regulating its the financial sector. And recently we had a report from the committee on the data management, and how the data has to be made secure, how the interests of the consumers have to be secured. So therefore the law of the land is becoming more regulatory and more delineated, more defined, so that it will become easy for the operators who are operating and service providers of the BFSI sector, so that they can operate more smoothly and bring about more innovative changes in the economy. So with this, I thank the organizer for inviting me to Goa, and also to giving me an opportunity to speak my views here. Thank you so much.